critics, or if not all audience members easily. Because let's face it, because listen, if that hype is deflated upon actually seeing the movie instead of just anticipating it, it's not going to do a lot of good for your movie. I'm sorry. Which takes us to today's film, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. A film that many people, especially people who have been fans of both Batman and Superman, have been anticipating for quite a long time. Now let's talk. Which was apparently reported to be something of a sequel to be not a sequel to 2013's Man of Steel, Superman remake Man of Steel, starring Steel with Henry Cavill as the title character, as well as being produced by Christopher Nolan, the director, writer, and producer of the Dark Knight of the critically acclaimed Dark Knight trilogy, as well as and directed by acclaimed visionary director Zack Snyder, the director of films like 300 and Sucker Punch. Now granted, Zack Snyder has been part of the DC universe and the comic universe for quite a while, so it's obvious why he would have the credentials to come on here. As for the casting, as far as this film goes, there's been a ton of hype up to this movie. Apparently, the release date had been pushed back a year, pushed back until this year. Here, not only that, but Ben Affleck was really reportedly supposed to come on to replace Christian Bale as Batman, even though his contract ended with the Dark Knight trilogy, and also new cast members will be coming onto this film as well, like Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Jeremy Irons as Alfred Pennyworth, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, to Lawrence, as well as the inclusion of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. There's a lot of, gotta be honest guys, there's a lot of hype for this movie. A lot of it. And to be honest guys, after reading some early mixed reviews for this film, I didn't have much of expectations. I never really had much knowledge of the Batman and Superman franchises as a whole, but I also heard that some people were getting the feeling that this film wasn't exactly the hype, didn't exactly earn and exceed all the hype that it had. Formulating my own fresh opinion, I went straight into this movie, and now I'm here to talk about it. So, what do we get? Well, guys, now look. I want to say that here's the deal. There are some films that actually I want to remind this film. Whether there are some films that actually live up to their hype, the hype in their series, like Star Wars: The Force Awakens, like last year, which was just downright amazing, as well as Mad Max: Fury Road, which just blew me out of the water. Unfortunately, they actually attained that hype due to having a great story, incredible acting, fantastic action, and as well as great underlying themes across the board. Whereas for Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, look guys, I want to like this film. Believe me, I really do. But at the end of the day, it just didn't work. I'm sorry. I really want to like this film. I'm a big fan of Batman and Superman, but at the end of the day, this film is totally inconsistent. I will admit that for the first part of this film actually got me interested, only for the last part of this film to entirely pee the majority of that away. Right. So what are some things I do like about this film? As a whole, I'm just not that into it. I'm sorry. Well, before everyone starts attacking me, I'm gonna talk. Let me talk about the positive. Let me talk about the positives first, and the biggest one I can obviously start with is Ben Affleck as Batman. Holy God, that man kills it. Kills it completely. I'm not saying he's not Christian Bale. He's not going to recreate what Christian Bale did with Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy, or especially Heath Ledger as the Joker in the Dark Knight. But he's got all the chops to make Batman his own. He's invested in the character. He's got a lot of charisma. He knows how to command the stage, and he definitely knows how to get really invested in what he does. He does as Bruce Wayne and especially I don't even mind the growling cackle that he does as Batman. as Batman, and definitely, and the Batman portraying this film that he portrays is kind of more bitter, jaded, and almost a bit more antagonistic. As far as Superman, now I have to talk about Henry Cavill as Superman. Now look, I don't have much of a history of Henry Cavill as Superman. The only thing I know about him for this film is that he gained a lot more muscle mass than he did from the previous film, which honestly isn't saying much. And although I haven't seen the Man of Steel or any previous Superman titles to back that up, I do have to say, however, that he is okay for the most part. But there are some points I felt he was a bit too serious and too stone-faced to actually show any real emotion behind what he says. As a whole, however, although he is a good actor, make no mistake, he is a great force behind him, a great force in front of the stage, in front of the camera, but there's not really much to his character that really makes it all look compelling or a bit more interesting, interesting. Now Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, she's not in the film that much, but especially in the role she plays, she only doesn't even say much in the film. Was in the film that much, but overall her performance was actually pretty good. I don't know much about Wonder Woman really, and I know she seemed like more of a cameo role than anything else, than a side character. I'll give her what she does. She does do her part well. I'll say that. However, that's pretty much where my and especially Jeremy Irons as Alfred. That guy was great. There goes for lower. However, that's pretty much where things end for me because in terms of the casting. Because now I have to talk about the two performances I wasn't too on board with. And I'm sorry. And before you guys start lynching me in the comments, I'll take the lynching. That person, the two people I have to criticize are Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and especially Amy Adams as Lois Lane. Look, I'm not saying I hate other characters, but honestly, did they really need to be here? I mean, yeah, sure, Lex Luthor is the villain of this film. I can understand that, but this guy's definitely but Lex Luthor's been done better in the past with Gene Hackman in the Christopher Reeve movies, and heck, even Kevin Spacey Superman Returns with Brandon Routh was a bit better. This Lex Luthor, on the other hand, look, Jesse Eisenberg is a fantastic actor. He can come into stage, especially the screen in films like Now You See Me, and especially American Ultra. But in this film, the guy seems to be more psychological, a bit too comical. He tries to be kind of the cynical, this misogynistic comic relief, and as a whole, I'm just not buying it, guys. It just doesn't work. It kind of looks like me whenever I try to be comical sometimes. And honestly, I think it sounds bad when I say I think I can actually do a lot better than he does. And sadly, and now we get to Lois Lane. And here's the deal: I get her role in this film to be kind of the love interest with Superman, because that's what she is, right? But as a whole, she kind of plays the same stereotypical damsel in distress, trying to help a crying woman at the end cliches that we've all seen and done millions of times. Which takes us to the next part of this film: the script and the directing. Now I'll say this: Zack Snyder, he didn't write the script for this film, even though he has done some for like Sucker Punch and maybe even 300. He didn't write the script for this film, which is starting to be a bit of a dang shame, because the screenwriter for this film is David S. Goyer, who we don't know was one of the screenwriters for The Dark Knight alongside Christopher Nolan and his brother, Jonathan Nolan. However, for this film, I have to say that the one thing I didn't like with this film was the tone, and more specifically, what the directing would, how the story progressed. Like I will say that the first and second half of this film was actually pretty good. It felt grounded. It felt realistic. It felt more realistic. It felt like that it was actually more of a personal problem than just a personal problem. It felt grounded. It actually felt natural. It actually kind of reminded me of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, where sure, there's a lot of action, a lot of stakes and grittiness, but it was grounded. It wasn't all big, showy, and flashy. It was grounded. It was realistic. It was gritty, and that's what I really liked about the film. Whereas for this film, I will say that it actually maintains that tone and pacing throughout the entire first and second act. But by the third act, the film does a complete 180, and in the final act between Doomsday is just Doomsday. Spoilers if you haven't seen the trailer. It just falls apart completely. I'm sorry. And as I was watching the film, I actually thought to myself, this doesn't even feel like Zack Snyder at all. Zack Snyder is more about Zack Snyder is all about effects-driven action, explosions, and everything like that. For spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen 300. But for the most part, if you actually stay within that tone, if you actually kept things more grounded, it didn't have to be the whole Batman vs Superman thing could have been more grounded and actually have more stakes involved, and actually been more involved without Doomsday's involvement. The film could actually have been a lot more powerful, and actually could have been a lot more grounded and feel more personal. But Zack Snyder's direction of the final fight scene, as I said, as I was watching it, I thought to myself, it sounded more like Michael Bay. It sounded more like Michael Bay more than Zack Snyder, and God knows we all don't want Michael Bay to touch a DC comic book franchise at all. And look, I know it's kind of rambling, and I know you guys know me. I'm kind of disappointed I'm not liking this as much as I want to, but I'm sorry guys, here's my honest thoughts. I do like some things about this film. Ben Affleck was excellent. Henry Cavill, he's good too. Even Jeremy Irons and Gal Gadot, they own the stage whenever they're on screen. But as a whole, look guys, Lois Lane doesn't even belong in this film. Doomsday and Lex Luthor, nope, sorry. If we win those characters out and kept things more grounded, and throughout the entire third act, and we wrote a different one, things could have been a lot more better. Heck, they could have been a lot. I liked it a bit more, but at least critics would have understood it a bit better. And even the fans would have liked it, might have liked it a bit better too. So look, I know it seems like I'm hating on this film, but I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be. Batman vs Superman, two of the most iconic characters. Look at the title; it's supposed to be big and gritty, but without any real sense of cohesion or any kind of real. Especially with too many effects driving the action more than the characters themselves. As a whole, and especially with a lack of any real sense of humor, and the film's tone feeling so dark and dreary and oh so serious. It just doesn't feel as fun or entertaining as I'd like it to be. So overall, I'm not gonna say this movie is trash because it's obviously not. But in the end, who's gonna remember it? Who's gonna remember this? For me, I don't want to try to be repetitive, but I gotta give this film a 4.5 out of 10, and only recommend a 5 out of 10, and only go see it if you're a fan just like me. But honestly, I've seen comic book films done better. If you want to see Batman done right, watch the Dark Knight trilogy. If you want to see Superman done better, just look at the. I don't want to see the Superman back catalog. Sure, maybe things will happen differently when the Justice League comes around a few years later. But until then, those previous movies I mentioned, they're a lot better. They're a lot better than this. And if you're interested, go check them out. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for watching today, guys. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more. I have more on the way, so stay tuned for more. Until then, I'm Ross Butler from M&M Weekly. I will see you next time.